Tonight on the ACC Network Extra, we bring you college wrestling from Raleigh, North Carolina. It's the 4th-ranked NC State Wolfpack hosting App State inside Reynolds Coliseum. Hello, everybody. We bring you inside our studio broadcast position alongside Ryan Tice. My name is Andrew Sanders, and it's interesting, Ryan, with the shortened year, these two programs in a weird situation because App State is having their first and last duel of the non-conference tonight. Meanwhile, for NC State, they've got one under their belt, but is their second and final non-conference duel. So it's both early season, they're just trying to get going, and yet at the same time, you look next week and they'll be into conference competition. How does this one set up?
Yeah, we know how important conference competition is, and this should be a good one tonight. We've got the SoCon favorite in App State, the ACC favorite in NC State, dueling in-state programs. NC State's got that super high national ranking, but App State will not back down.
No doubt about it. Here's what App State did last year. 9-3 in duels, but what really stands out, the 4 shutouts.
Yeah, that is a super impressive number. Really hard to get a shutout in college wrestling. You got to have the depth 1 through 10 in the lineup to be able to do that. Very, very impressive to be able to do that 4 times last season.
Meanwhile, for NC State, well, Pat Popolizio winning his 2nd straight ACC championship, and they did it in style in the dual season as well.
Yeah, undefeated dual season, a first in school history. Really unfortunate we didn't get to see them at the national tournament because they really could have made noise there, but they've continued their winning ways, and they bring in the nation's longest undefeated winning streak into tonight.
Yeah, 18 straight for the Wolfpack in duels. We're going to start at 125 pounds tonight, and there are a couple of matchups that we're certainly looking forward to. How about Jacob Camacho last year, what he did? And an interesting talking point, and we were talking before the broadcast, Ryan, is he maybe improved more than anyone in the country throughout the year last year. In a shortened season, we might not see that kind of growth and development.
Yeah, his first year in the lineup, so a freshman really improving from beginning of the year to mid-year to the end of the season. I mean, the Southern Scuffle was a huge turning point for him, and by the end of the year, you saw him upset a former NCAA finalist to win the ACC title.
Yeah, beating 2nd-ranked Mueller of Virginia, and now, as you see, he's got a 7 next to his name. He comes in with high expectations into this season. Going up against Cody Russell of App State. Russell 3-0 on the year, and an interesting storyline, he's pretty familiar with Reynolds Coliseum, right?
Yeah, a guy who started his career at NC State, redshirted here during the 2016-17 season before transferring to App State. But there's a lot of familiarity between these two programs. They run into each other at open tournaments in previous years. We don't have that this year, of course, and then the last couple years they've dueled each season. See Camacho already in on a shot. Good little whizzer there from Russell trying to prevent a finish. Camacho's going to try to limp arm that right arm out and finish on the edge here.
Almost got it out. Now he does. Russell trying to reach back.
Yeah, and you can really tell Russell with that length. Former 133-pounder dropping down to 25 this year.
2 points awarded to Camacho, so he draws first blood.
Yeah, the ref kind of awarded it there for a second, waved it off, and then Camacho did secure it there before they went out of bounds.
So as we said, the defending ACC champion at 125 pounds. Almost got a tech fall last weekend. That was Sunday on the road at Gardner-Webb. Earned a major decision, 21-8. So a lot of offense from Camacho.
Yeah, and I thought the impressive thing last week was Camacho coming back after giving up the first takedown of the match. It was actually the only takedown a Wolfpack wrestler gave up last week and had to battle back and really dug his way out of the hole.
Yeah, speaking of shutouts, it was a 42-0 shutout of Gardner-Webb last week. So taking a page out of App State's book there. 50 seconds left here in this first period. And a stalemate. Camacho didn't just win the ACC championship at 125. He was named the most outstanding wrestler, one of 6 All-Americans last year for NC State.
Yeah, and he comes into this season with a super high national ranking. He's as high as number 3 in some of the national polls. You'll see the number 7 on his name on the bug there in the bottom left-hand corner coming from Intermat. And Cody Russell is a guy that's really knocking on the door in the national rankings. I really feel he's only not in them because he dropped down a weight, and people aren't sure how he's going to do at this weight class yet.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because you were talking to App State head coach John Mark Bentley, and he said that it was something that he wanted to do, was drop down from 133 to 125.
Yeah, and we should specify there that the he that wanted to do it was actually Cody Russell,
yes,
not John Mark Bentley. He admitted he was kind of skeptical at first of a weight change there because I think Cody Russell is such a big guy. But he said, hey, Cody, if that's what you want to do, you're a fifth-year senior. If you're going to commit to it and hold the weight, we'll do it, and we'll see how it works out for him.
Yeah, wasn't crazy about it at first, but, you know, he really feels, Cody Russell does, that it's a more natural weight for him, and that can help him reach his goals this year.
Yeah, and it might have helped out the App State lineup as a whole, as we'll see at 133 in our next match. Sean Carter was probably one of the biggest 125-pounders in the country.
So those two flip-flop. Meanwhile, Russell earning the escape there, even it up at 2, and Camacho with his second takedown of the night.
Great job by Camacho. As soon as Russell secured the escape, getting in on those legs immediately. Got to like that. A nice mat return there from Jacob Camacho. Great stuff. He's really improved his game since the beginning of last year, and he's wrestling like a veteran out there.
Russell found himself on his back, but fortunately for him, out of bounds. Another escape for Russell. That's how he scored his 3 points so far. Just over a minute left in this second. Jacob Camacho. Coach Papalizio said he's seen a lot of maturity from him. Feels like he's really zoned in right now. Got a lot of confidence. Wrestling freestyle. And now, says really the sky is the limit for him this year. And he has a chance to win a national title. There's a stall warning there for Russell.
I thought Camacho really showed his strength there on that double leg that he had. Wasn't in a great position to take a shot and almost muscled his way into it. Good defense there from Russell to avoid the takedown.
Russell sprawls, defends. Trying to circle around. And that will end the second. So we head to the third. And we expected this one a good place to start at 125. We thought this would be a good one, and it is tight heading to the third. There's the head coach of the Wolfpack, Pat Papalizio. And hard to believe it's already his ninth season, but he has really brought back a lot of the tradition of this program, got him back in the national rankings, as we said earlier. 75 straight polls in the top 10. Unbelievable.
Yeah, he's really taken this program to new heights, I would even argue. I mean, NC State was good back in the day under Bob Guzzo, but I don't know if they were ever this good, this consistently, and this highly nationally ranked on a consistent basis.
Bringing back all 10 starters as Camacho earns the escape point. When you bring back all 10 starters from a team that's won back-to-back ACC championships, as the ACC has gotten so much better in college wrestling over the last several years, you know the expectations are through the roof.
Oh, 100%. I mean, these guys are not just talking team trophy at the NCAA tournament. They're talking a team national title. That's their goal.
Of course, they were able to bring home that fourth place team trophy back in 2018. Two more for Camacho here as he gets a little breathing room over Russell. 7-3 now. Camacho hit with a stall. Warning.
Great job following there by Camacho. Russell nearly got away there on the edge. Camacho able to stay on top and in control.
see the ride time, so Camacho, well, that shouldn't be going back down, but he is up over a minute of ride time. So as the two wrestlers go out again, it's effectively 8-3 right now. And we'll see what these guys have left in the tank the last 24 seconds.
I believe Russell got hit for a second stall call there when they went out of bounds.
Oh, good catch. Camacho adds another takedown, 10-4. 11-4 with the ride time point.
Really impressive offense from Jacob Camacho in this one. I mean, he's been able to get to shots against a guy who's coming down in weight class and probably has a pretty good size advantage. And, I mean, Cody Russell is a quality wrestler. He was a two-time NCAA qualifier up at 133.
Camacho finishes with a mat return, and he will take this one by decision over Cody Russell.
Yeah, like I said, really impressive effort there from Jacob Camacho, going up against a guy who might have a little bit of a size advantage, but that did not stop Camacho from getting to his offense.
3-0 NC State leading through one bout. We move on to 133 pounds after Jacob Camacho, ranked 7th in the country, defeated Cody Russell at 125. At 133, we've got 16th ranked redshirt sophomore Jarrett Trombley, 1-0 on the year against the sophomore Sean Carter of App State. As we were speaking about just in the 125, this is a change for Carter as he moves up a weight class this year.
Yeah, and looking at him here, I don't know how that kid ever made 125. He looks long.
John Mark Bentley said he's probably one of the biggest 125-pounders in the country last year. Yeah, he looks big for 133, going up against a tough opponent in Jarrett Trombley. And this is just his redshirt sophomore year. This is an area where at 133, NC State has depth up and down the lineup, but especially at 133, they feel like they've got some really good options. But Trombley, Coach Pop said he feels like he's the guy right now.
Yeah, he's got the experience, and he's beating everybody else in the room right now. But they do have freshman Ryan Jack. I know the NC State coaches are super high on him. And Alex Urquiza is a name that a lot of fans might not know, but Pat Papalizio has been heaping a lot of praise on him as well.
But it is Trombley who had the huge moment last year, finished 4th at the ACCs. But when he pinned 22nd ranked Girardi of Virginia Tech, that clinched that duel for NC State. He's on the board first. He's got a takedown of Carter here in the first period.
Yeah, that Virginia Tech match last year was crazy. Pins left and right.
Right.
And very unexpected pins where they came.
And Trombley had a great reaction. He knew what it meant just for him individually, but what it meant to the program as well. And obviously that helped NC State stay undefeated and win that regular season championship. Of course, they would go on to win the ACC championship as well as a team. But speaking of that room and how much competition there is in it right now, Coach Papalizio said, you know, that competition makes everyone better. And Trombley right now, he's got such good maturity. His commitment is there. He is on track and feels like he's really stepped up his game a lot and is excited to see what he's going to bring this year. And really heaped praise on him as a guy who's a 4.0 guy in the classroom as well, and just does things the right way, works extremely hard.
Yeah, the Wolfpack has a few of those guys. It's really impressive when you see all their honors, not only on the wrestling mat, but in the classroom as well. And Trombley's right at the front of the line with that.
2020 NWCA Scholar All-American. He drives Carter to the edge of the mat here.
Yeah, and look at him toe tapping there, dragging that toe to get a few more seconds on top. Good job. Nice mat return so far by Trombley.
Sean Carter, SoCon Freshman of the Year last year. And we told you he was at 125, but he started the year wrestling at that weight unattached. And then to become the SoCon Freshman of the Year last year, I think speaks volumes to his potential, and he really just burst on the scene.
Yeah, he's a guy that I strongly feel he's right on the outside looking in of the national rankings right now. Couple wins, like if he gets a win over Trombley here, he would certainly skyrocket right into those national rankings. A few outlets do have him among the top 25 right now.
And if you're App State, as we said, both of these programs about to get into conference competition. If you're App State, you got to love the opportunity to go up against ranked wrestlers, because pretty much up and down the lineup, you're going to be going up against the guy who's nationally ranked, and you know you can make a big name for yourself if you can win this bout. Yeah,
John Mark Bentley told us before the match, he said, we don't back down from competition,
right,
but certainly not in-state competition, and he likes this as kind of a measuring stick for his guys and preparation for the NCAA championships.
Yeah, I think credit really to both coaches, because they continue to schedule each other pretty much year in, year out. A great program in the ACC and a great program in the SoCon. There is John Mark Bentley, 12th season in Boone, and as you see, 4 times the SoCon Coach of the Year. He has done a tremendous job up there in Boone.
Yeah, he's one of those coaches that might not get talked about on a national level so much, but he is certainly deserving of all the praise he gets and then some. Nice job. Quick escape there from Trombley.
And I think he understands the importance of this rivalry, as Coach Bentley is from Avery High School in Newland, North Carolina. He is a North Carolina guy, and he gets it. He gets how important this is. Obviously, we're so glad everyone could join us here on the ACC Network Extra. Fans not being allowed into Reynolds Coliseum, whether this is in Raleigh or it's in Boone, there's always a great crowd from both programs representing, and he expressed a little disappointment that obviously it wouldn't have that type of atmosphere, but still knew how important it is to schedule a program like NC State.
Yeah, both these programs packed their gyms out for home duels, so it would have been great to see the in-state rivalry with everybody in the building. That's just fortunately not the situation, but I want to go back to that shot there from Carter.
Sure.
I mean, man, that was a great shot, and then a phenomenal scramble from Trombley to keep him from scoring. You can see that length Carter has. It's super impressive for a 133.
Carter. Trombley trying to roll out of it, and still no control yet. Looked like Carter was in there with that right ankle.
Yeah, that dive under from Trombley was very effective there. Put himself into more of a 50-50 spot, because Carter had a huge advantage after that shot.
So we've seen Carter on a couple of shots look very dangerous offensively, but so far just unable to scratch against Trombley's defense. 20 seconds left in the second here. Can Carter mount any more offense?
He set that last shot up with his activity in neutral, and it looked like he was trying to go back to that, and Trombley, maybe a savvy veteran move there, kind of shooting in on his own and stymieing that a little bit. You see right here, Carter in deep, Trombley dives under, and right there, he turns that into a more of a 50-50 spot than a big-time advantage for Carter. Great scramble.
Carter to his feet. And Trombley just would not let him escape.
Trombley, I'm very impressed with his work on top so far. Had a couple of nice mat returns. You see him doing a little toe drag to get that extra 2 or 3 seconds on top. And that's resulted in him having 1 minute and 33 seconds of ride time advantage.
At the App State individual quad on Saturday, Carter beat Evan Buchanan of UVA, but he lost to 14th ranked Louis Hayes in a major decision against another ranked wrestler here tonight. And I believe they're going to award Carter a point. That's the second stall on Trombley. I apologize, I missed the first one.
Yeah, that might be why the ref was heading over to the table there. Pat Papalizio wanting to get some clarification on that. So Trombley's going to have to be careful on top now that he does have 2 stalling calls against him. Because he's up over a minute and with a little room to spare there of riding time, if he gets in danger here of picking up another stall call, he needs to just cut and go back to neutral.
And that's what he does. So Carter now down 3-2, but again, the ride time in favor of Trombley at the moment by a pretty healthy margin. Carter's going to need to score a takedown here pretty quickly.
Yeah, Trombley's not far from having that ride time point locked up, and then it's just really staying active in neutral and not getting in danger of picking up another stall call.
Under a minute to go. Carter.
And Trombley's scrambling ability is just excellent.
That ride time point is now locked up for Trombley.
Trombley needs to watch his back here.
And not much more to be gained from that position for either wrestler.
No, again, a great shot by Carter, and Trombley just able to scramble out of it, create a more of a 50-50 spot and get that stalemate.
Carter has been really active. He's keeping up that pace here.
Yeah, he needs to go into his sprint here with 15 seconds to go, but Trombley very smartly is the one shooting here. And whether he finishes or not, it's a smart move for him to go in on the shot.
So Trombley hangs on. You see the reaction from Carter, frustrated. He wrestled very well here tonight, but it's Trombley, his defense, able to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, that was a match won by Trombley's scrambling ability. Carter got in deep on a few shots a few times, not able to finish. And here's our lone takedown of the match. Great finish by Jarrett Trombley.
Welcome you back to Raleigh. NC State leading App State 6-0 after a couple of decision wins. Jacob Camacho over Cody Russell and Jarrett Trombley over Sean Carter. Now to 141 pounds, and this is the first fifth-year senior we see from NC State. That Story 2016 #1 overall recruiting class. Those guys are all now fifth-year seniors. Tariq Wilson, ranked 10th in the country. He brings that wealth of experience. Of course, he burst onto the scene back in 2018, going from unseeded to third in the country at NCAAs. And so now in this, his fifth year, the expectations are high.
Absolutely. They want, and he wants, a national title. And they, of course, the coaches' expectations for him. But he's a guy that if he is as active as he can be in neutral, that's the key to Tariq Wilson's wrestling, is shooting and shooting a lot. And you saw he wasted no time doing exactly that tonight.
Immediately up 2-0, and that's exactly what Wolfpack fans saw from him on Sunday down in Boiling Springs, North Carolina against Gardner Webb, earning a tech fall victory over Conrad Scheiss 17-2. I mean, when he is at his best, he can put up numbers quickly.
Yeah, when he's doing that, he can wrestle with anybody in the country. I think he showed that at the freestyle match that NC State had against the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club. I mean, he was going against Joe Lee, a guy who was the 2 seed at this weight at NCAAs last year, and he was taking him down. So if he can take that guy down, he can take anyone in the country down at his weight.
Anthony Brito. The stall warning. And now back points being earned by Wilson. 4 of them. Brito from just down the road in Wake Forest went to Heritage High School where he won a state championship. Now in his redshirt junior year. He was SoCon All-Freshman a couple of years ago. Last year 21-9, but he was the primary backup to Bradley Irwin, who was a senior starter last year. Now facing a tough challenge against Tariq Wilson. And Ryan, you know, it's interesting to me that we started off this broadcast talking about how it was a short season for both of these programs and how they're just getting the season started, but also conference competition right around the corner. I thought it was an interesting point by Pat Popolizio of NC State. He feels like the short season helps guys like redshirt seniors like Tariq Wilson because they've been through it all. They are more prepared to go from the jump because that's what you have to be this year.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that short season will also help a guy specifically like Tariq Wilson because, I mean, you can just see how much bigger he is than Brito out there. He is a huge guy for his weight class. And, of course, making the weight for 2 months is much better than making it for the normal, 5-month period of a season.
Sure, great point. You see Wilson going to end this first period, 2 minutes and 48 seconds of ride time.
Yeah, he took a shot, scored a takedown immediately, and then right here you see him working on those tilts. He's gotten really proficient with those, picked up all 4 near fall points there. So Tariq Wilson in control, 8-0 at the end of the first. And
keep in mind, Brito, I told you he was a state champ in high school, out of Heritage High School. He's coming off last weekend. He went 2-1 at the App State individual quad. And he pinned Tyler Seeley of the Citadel. Also beat Scotty Kiono of Virginia. The lone loss, he was pinned by Brian Courtney of Virginia. But coming off 2 good wins this past Saturday, and we'll see what he can do now on top.
Yeah, and right here, Wilson's got to get his head off the mat if he wants to escape. Gets some motion going and able to switch out and shoots again right away.
Not wasting any time. He preferred the first period to the first minute or so of this period. Right back to work on offense. Changes angle of attack. We mentioned that conference comes calling next week. NC State next Friday at Virginia. That one at 5 o'clock. Meanwhile, for App State, is Wilson got started early here, caution. App State hosting Bellarmine in SoCon action. That is Sunday the 17th at 2:30.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously, since these guys' schedules are going to be so much conference action, I mean, these conference duels are going to be more important than ever.
No doubt.
They're always important for seeding at the conference championships, but man, 90% or more of a guy's schedule is going to be conference opponents this year.
Short time here, under 15 seconds. We saw Wilson get a turn in the first period. Brito defending better here in the second.
Yeah, he didn't give up any near fall this period and had some time on top, but Wilson still in control here. Almost 3.5 minutes of riding time, and you see Brito looked like he had choice and chose neutral. And we'll see how quickly Tariq Wilson shoots this time around.
10 seconds.
And that was almost like a half shot, but Tariq Wilson's just so long, it was a legitimate shot.
Yeah. See what they did last year. 7 major decisions, and already the Tech Fall win this past Sunday.
Doing a good job defending with that whizzer so far. I tell you, these NC State wrestlers are such good scramblers up and down the lineup. We saw it last match with Jarrett Trombley. Seeing it here with Tariq Wilson, because that was a good shot by Brito.
And how frustrating is that for an opposing wrestler?
Oh, it's incredibly frustrating, especially when you get in so deep and you have almost no shot of finishing. I mean, Tariq Wilson was never, in my opinion, really threatened of giving up the takedown there. I mean, it was a great shot. Brito was in deep and just no chance of finishing on that one. It's devastating as a wrestler. That's a deep shot from Wilson. He'll look for a trip here. And it's hard to prevent that from happening just with his length.
Especially when he starts right there in the middle of the mat. I mean, you could see Brito trying to get to the edge. That's just a lot of ground to cover when you're on one leg.
No doubt about it.
Wilson is going to cut here.
Yeah, you wonder if he was almost going to try for the Tech fall there.
13-1, add on the ride time point. 14-1 for Tariq Wilson. Major decision.
Yeah, that one was all Tariq Wilson and his length. Here's the opening takedown of the match. He shot right away. Had almost 3 minutes of riding time in the first. His 14-1 win.
10-0 NC State as we reach the 149-pound bout, and we have been looking forward to this one. 10th ranked redshirt junior Jonathan Milner of App State against the freshman Ed Scott of NC State. And a lot of times, Ryan, we like to see two guys, maybe two redshirt seniors going at it. Different matchups, always fun if it's a stylistic matchup. This one is more about opportunity and proving something, because we know Jonathan Milner, SoCon Conference champion last year, and you see the number 10 by his name. We know how good he is. NC State fans are wondering just how good is this freshman Ed Scott, because he had quite a good time out against Gardner Webb, a pin in 3 minutes and 25 seconds against Jason Muldrew.
Yeah, and he looked great in that season opener. He's very proficient with his front headlock, so we'll see how much he goes to that in this one. But tough test here going up against Jonathan Milner. And look at Ed Scott, not scared and striking first.
Scott, a top 50 recruit overall, ranked number 2 in his weight class at 152 pounds. Twice a state champ in high school, and he is from Pennsylvania, so that carries a little extra weight.
Not only was he a state champ, undefeated seasons as a junior and senior.
151-6 for his high school career. 151-6, and get this. This is the more eye-popping stat to me is he had 105 career pins in high school.
Yeah, that is a insane
my goodness
number of pins.
Milner from Greensboro went 31-4 last year, but he did not wrestle on Saturday. So this is his first bit of official action in this season.
Yeah, and Milner was probably on the other end of the high school recruiting spectrum from Scott, where everyone wanted Ed Scott and knew how good he was, where we talked to John Mark Bentley before the match, and he said Milner kind of a little under-recruited despite winning a state title, and carries a little chip on his shoulder because of it.
And that's really, it seems like John Mark Bentley, I mean, he goes out and finds those guys that have a chip on their shoulder and obviously are very talented. maybe a little bit overlooked, and then brings them into the program, and he can develop them extremely well. That's why they're so consistent in the SoCon. And now Milner trying to go to work on Scott. Right back to neutral.
Great defense there from Ed Scott. I thought Milner was in pretty deep there. And Scott able to get out of it right away.
Ed Scott at 149 pounds, and perhaps later on in his career, pretty likely that he'll go to 157. Right now, that spot pretty solidified with Hayden Hidley, and so they felt it was best for him to make a move to 149 and give him a chance to produce right away.
Yeah, the expectation was for Ed Scott to come in and redshirt at 157, but I think when the NCAA said, hey, it's a free year eligibility-wise, and they knew where Ed Scott weighed, the coaches started looking at it, and I think more importantly, Ed Scott started looking at it and saying, hey, I could be in the starting lineup right off the bat on a team with a chance to do some special things.
He's got a 2-1 advantage through the first period. Pat Popolizio said, I love what I see out of Ed Scott. And really that he was just looking for some consistency at this particular weight. Obviously, there's a lot of redshirt seniors on this team that pretty much locked down their weight classes. But 149 was a weight class that was somewhat more open, and he feels like Ed Scott can potentially provide some of that consistency.
Yeah, they've been looking for consistency at this weight class in particular for a long time, and Popolizio thinks Ed Scott's going to be the one to solve that riddle finally. And look at this. Scott with a chance for a reversal.
Came close there, wasn't awarded. And now Milner.
That was a fun little scramble.
Wasn't it?
Great job by Milner there to stay in control and stay on top.
Coach Bentley said that Milner's best asset, his confidence. Says he has a tremendous amount of confidence. And that wasn't necessarily always the case, because as a lot of guys do when they come into college, they struggle as a freshman, and he did that and really thought about, you know, what was his future in wrestling and stuck it out, and to his credit, worked extremely hard, and now he finds himself in a position where, you know, as a redshirt junior, he's ranked in the top 10.
Yeah, I'm sure he's very happy he stuck it out and stayed with it here now that he's reaping the rewards. And Ed Scott so close to escaping, so close to getting a reversal, and Milner just doing his best to stay on top. That's going to be an escape right there. Well, hasn't been awarded yet. There it is.
So that ride time up over a minute. We saw Milner tough on top, but credit to Scott. He almost had the reversal earlier. And he was, it seemed like, looking for a little offense there on bottom.
Absolutely. And Ed Scott's a big move guy. You don't get the number of pins he did as a high schooler without being a big move guy, and he was going for those a few times there instead of maybe just looking for one, but he was close to getting it so many times. I can't argue with the logic.
So Scott still with the lead through 2 periods. Now I think it's going to be interesting. He was on bottom for a long time there. What's his gas tank like?
Absolutely, an interesting decision by Milner here to go neutral. Milner in so deep again. There's that big move.
How many times have we said that tonight? An App State wrestler in deep, and there Milner is able to finish.
And you see where that riding time's at right now. This is very crucial time, and it looks like Ed Scott might be shaking up a little bit. Possible shoulder or elbow, I would say, off live look.
Once again, if you didn't see the top of the broadcast, we're not in Reynolds Coliseum. We are in the studio, so we're seeing the same pictures that you are, and we'll get another look. I didn't see any blood, I don't believe.
No, I don't think it was blood. It might have been him coming down right on his shoulder when he tried that arm spin. You see how I don't want to say he went limp or anything, but kind of didn't fight quite as much as you might expect right as soon as he hit.
So Scott is going to be able to continue.
Now this is important here. That is going to give Milner a choice as to where to start, and he obviously chooses bottom there because of the injury time.
Yes. And he's able to get out with that ride time still over a minute. And so how big was that takedown for Milner?
Yeah, huge. And if you're Ed Scott, you would have loved to have seen him ride for maybe 8 more seconds and get it under a minute, but now instead he's just going to have to go to work in neutral over this last minute.
So Milner adding the escape point, 4-3 lead, effectively 5-3 as we go under a minute. App State looking for its first win here in this duel. You see through 3 matches, 10-0 NC State.
Great activity there from Milner. Really putting the pressure on him and not giving Ed Scott a chance to relax. Staying on offense.
Yeah, he seems fresh here late in the third.
Ed Scott needs to know where he's at and get out of bounds and look for a restart here.
Does so with 9 seconds left.
Now Ed Scott's capable of some huge moves, so he's not out of this one yet. He is obviously short on time.
Well done by Jonathan Milner. Trailing through the first 2 periods, no panic at all. He got the takedown he needed in the third.
Yeah, really impressive match. I really think from both sides, but Jonathan Milner, the redshirt junior, ranked in the top 10, comes out on top, and here it was.
We thank you for joining us here on the ACC Network Extra. Jonathan Milner put the Mountaineers on the board with a 5-3 decision over the freshman of NC State, Ed Scott. We now move to 157 pounds. Redshirt junior Cody Bond making his first career dual start, going up against second-ranked Hayden Hidley of NC State. That is a tough way to start your dual career.
Hey, welcome to the show, kid. Here's a former NCAA finalist for you.
3-time All-American Hayden Hidley. Could become the first NC State wrestler this year ever to finish as a 4-time All-American.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of firsts out there to accomplish in NC State wrestling when you got a program that's as storied as them with 8 NCAA titles in their history, but Hayden Hidley could be able to become the first 4-time All-American.
Cody Bond with 22 official bouts under his belt in his college career. Won a state championship in high school down in Georgia. Went 2-2 last weekend and earned a Tech Fall win over Nick Sansone of UVA. That was the highlight. Hidley already up 4-0 here against Gardner Webb. Hidley took care of Chase McKinney quickly. Took him less than a minute, 53 seconds to be exact, to get the pin.
Yeah, he pulled that old lefty headlock out of his back pocket. Ended it quickly. 1 of 2 pins in that match for the Wolfpack.
At the end of last year, Hidley earned the number 2 seed at NCAA's, coming off his 3rd straight ACC title. Went 28-1 in his redshirt junior year. And obviously, guys across the country disappointed that they could not test themselves in that national tournament up in Minneapolis. And Hayden Hidley said, this year, we're going to double down.
That's right. I mean, you've got no control over the situation, so you might as well take the optimistic look at it. And I know this is a kid that, he made the NCAA finals as a redshirt freshman, so he probably expected to have his national title by now.
That's right. And that makes this year, all the more important. He is laser focused on his goal. And he earns another takedown over Bond here. 30 seconds left in the first. As a redshirt freshman, made it all the way to the final, undefeated that year. I mean, pretty much just took the country by storm. And while his following years did not quite match that in terms of end result, I mean, he has been a model of consistency for this program.
Absolutely. He has never lost to an ACC opponent. He is a perfect, I believe it's 50-0 now in bonus point matches for his career. And I really thought he took his game to a new level last year in terms of bonus points. He really became super offensive. He's very good on top. He's very good positionally. I mean, he doesn't have any holes in his game.
Hidley with the escape. Would make it 7-1. That's just crazy to think about. Has never lost to an ACC opponent. And yet still, obviously has that work ethic. Continues to get better and better and better. And some people might think, that might be difficult to do when you're not really being all that much challenged within conference. But he's got bigger goals than just conference.
Well, and he's certainly been challenged as well within the conference. There have been some good wrestlers at 157 pounds throughout his career.
Which just makes it crazier that he still never lost.
Exactly. That speaks a lot to him as a wrestler, that he's never been threatened even within the league, and there have been other All-Americans at this weight class.
Cody Bond filling in this year and taking a big step up at 157. This was a weight class that last year Coach Bentley, he was relying on Matt Zavostowski, who was a 3-time NCAA qualifier, had 100 career wins. So this is a step up for Bond, and they're looking for him to really fill a role here this year.
Yeah, the good news from Bond's perspective will be they don't get any tougher than this one right here.
That's right. It's all downhill from here. And to his credit, as we said, last weekend, Hidley earned a pin in under a minute, and Bond making it tough on him here. He's not racking up easy bonus points at all.
No, absolutely. I mean, Bond, I think, is out here really putting on the display of what the App State program's all about, and that's a gritty, tough program that doesn't back down from anybody. And John Mark Bentley told us, we know what the rankings are, but we don't care. We're going out there to win.
And you have to have that confidence as a wrestler. Right? If you go out there thinking, a guy on the other side is really tough, probably not gonna win tonight. That's just not the mentality that any wrestler I've ever has.
No, I don't like to talk in absolutes, but I feel pretty safe saying this. I've never met a successful wrestler that doesn't have confidence.
It's a requirement.
Absolutely. To go out there one-on-one with somebody, I mean, you can't pass the blame off to anybody. It's mano a mano.
I think usually what you hear is guys just talking about it as an opportunity, a great opportunity. Hey, if you're going up against a guy who's, a national champion or made NCAA finals like Hidley, hey, this is an opportunity.
100%, because if you go out there and win this match, you're going to find yourself in the national rankings, and you'll get that target on your back.
There you see, Hidley has secured that riding time point. So he is in, as of now, major decision territory. And tacks on 2 more.
Yeah, we'll see if he's able to get his tilts going on top or if he just cuts and wants to go back neutral to work on his takedowns. But right now it looks like he's content to ride on top and look for a turn.
Half a minute to go. Hayden Hidley in his redshirt senior year, opening up the season in Reynolds Coliseum for NC State. Bond with a late escape. And that will do it. Major decision for Hayden Hidley of NC State.
Hayden Hidley going out there and doing what Hayden Hidley does. That is putting up a lot of points, scoring a bonus point victory. And right here you see one of his turns where he got all 4 near points. Big major decision win puts the Wolfpack up 14-3.
Fourth-ranked NC State leading App State 14-3. Friday night duels here on the ACC Network Extra with Ryan Tice. My name is Andrew Sanders, and we take a break here through the first 5 matches. As they clean the mat, we'll take a look at what we saw. Opening at 125 pounds, a decision for Jacob Camacho.
Yeah, this was a 4-3 match at the end of the second period. Camacho really got to his offense in the third, broke it open, did not get a major decision, but just missed it with that 11-4 final.
Jared Trombley earning a decision over Sean Carter at 133, and then Tariq Wilson, his offense showed up, 14-1 a major for Tariq Wilson.
Yeah, when Tariq Wilson is scoring an offense like he did tonight, he's got the chance to beat anybody in the country at 141 pounds. He looked really good in that 14-1 win.
Maybe the best bout so far. We saw 10th-ranked Jonathan Milner, 5-3 decision over Ed Scott. And to finish things off, Hayden Hidley, consistent as always. He earned a major decision as well.
Yeah, that's what he does. Goes out and gets bonus points. Really impressive. Dominated effort from him, 14-5. Major decision win.
As you see the mat getting cleaned up, here is the official scores from those first 5 bouts. And Ryan, what's your overall takeaway from what we saw through the first 5?
Well, I think NC State's probably gone out and done what many expected them to do, but I want to focus on the 149-pound match. I think that was the headliner coming in, and I think really from both sides you have to be pretty pleased with the results, you know, provided Ed Scott is healthy, because we did see him get a little shaken up there, but I thought he did really well going out up against his first tough college test, a top 10 opponent, and fought his tail off in a 5-3 decision.
Yeah, I think well said. Both programs have to be pretty happy with that, because remember, Milner did not compete this past Saturday. So that was really the first one that he got under his belt facing a tough opponent, and for him to be able to earn the win, feels pretty good about that as well. We said earlier the ACC continues to get better year over year in college wrestling. What do you think about those numbers? 4 in the top 15.
Yeah, the thing to keep in mind here is we're talking about a 6-team league. There's only 6 ACC wrestling programs. To have 4 of them in the top 14, so impressive. I can't wait for the conference season to start up. We're going to have some great duels. I mean, these teams are as close as you can get, and they are going to be good ones.
And you see the 5th team, UVA, receiving votes. NC State will travel to Charlottesville and take on the Cavaliers next Friday. Sounds like we're just about to start at 165, but first we'll show you NC State's upcoming schedule. Start on the road at Virginia, and then a home duel against Pittsburgh, at North Carolina, at Virginia Tech. As you said, I mean, when more than half the league is ranked in the top 14. I mean, it's going to be a challenge for sure.
Yeah, and all 3 in a row for the Wolfpack is quite the daunting schedule.
Of course, on the road, not as important this year as it has been in previous years in terms of atmosphere. Unless you're talking about traveling a great distance, traveling up to Pittsburgh, that's going to be your longest trip in any given year. Thomas Bullard of NC State, redshirt senior, ranked number 7 in the country against the redshirt sophomore Will Formato.
Yeah, and it's a Bullard on the mat, so we're going to see some crazy scrambles. Formato didn't waste any time shooting, and Bullard does what Bullard does and gets in a scramble and prevents any points.
Known for scrambling ability and known for just being tough on top.
Yeah, some of the best top work, honestly, I've ever seen.
Wow.
Both him and his brother are so good on top. They are dangerous.
I'm not calling you old, but you've seen quite a bit. That's really high praise from you.
I'm getting up there, Andrew.
Only got me by I think 1 or 2, right?
2, I believe.
Bullard did not wrestle on Sunday. He missed the Gardner-Webb match last week. So he, like Milner, we saw for App State, he's making his debut tonight. Formato will get 2.
Great job by Formato sticking with that to complete the takedown. Like I said, Bullard is so tough with his scrambles, but great job sticking with it, finishing the takedown.
So Formato, he's got some momentum coming into this. 2-1 he went last weekend, but the headliner was he beat NCAA qualifier Dajan Castro of the Citadel in overtime. And that was a bit of a revenge match for him. He beat him last year as well, but then did not get chosen as the at-large there. And so to show up and beat Castro again in overtime, he's got the momentum, and now he's got a lead on the 7th-ranked wrestler in the country at 165 pounds.
Yeah, can't ask for a much better start to his season and a much better start to this match for him, because I'm telling you, if you can take down a Bullard, you can take down anybody.
John Mark Bentley said Formato had a tremendous offseason. Said he thinks he's going to surprise some people this year.
Yeah, he went out and won 2 matches at Senior Nationals, which I believe were in October. And that's a very impressive result for a guy still in college, because most of the guys there are out of college.
Well, he has dominated this first period.
Yeah, I mean, he wasted no time shooting right off the bat. Didn't get that takedown at first, eventually secured it, and then got a turn, and he's up over a minute of riding time already.
Based on what he did last week, I mean, don't get me wrong. We knew he was a talented wrestler, but when Coach Bentley says, I think he's going to surprise a lot of people this year, I think he surprised me with just how sharp he was in that first period.
Yeah, that's a great first period, and you see right there, most guys, when they get choice, they're going bottom. Formato knows all about the Bullard's top work and chooses neutral, and it's hard to argue with that decision based on how the first period went for him.
Yeah. Scouting report is there. So again, Thomas Bullard getting his first official work here in this wrestling season, and in his first bout, facing some adversity. We'll see what he can come up with here in the second period.
From an NC State perspective, it's not the worst thing in the world that Thomas Bullard sees himself down 4-0 right here, because he is a guy capable of scoring points, and you kind of want to put him in some of those adverse situations to prepare him for the postseason.
Bullard, 3-time NCAA qualifier. He was named to the All-American second team last year. So he earned the number 10 seed at NCAAs.
Yeah, and I think the thing to keep in mind, which I can't believe we haven't mentioned yet, These two guys wrestled each other twice last year. Bullard won both. Pretty comfortable decisions on both of them as well. So, you know, Formato's coming out here with revenge on his mind, and he's felt Bullard. He knows what he needs to do. He's got a personal scouting report, not just something the coaches are telling him.
Shot and reshot. Still neutral. Under 30 seconds left in the second.
I'm going to be real interested to see what Thomas Bullard does with choice here in the third period. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be shocked to see him choose top.
We haven't seen him in that spot yet.
See what the coaches decide. You see Thomas looking over to the corner to get some direction from Pat Popolizio and company.
Coach Popolizio said of Thomas Bullard, he said, I think he knows he's one of the best guys in the country, and it's time.
Yeah, they've had high expectations for these guys for a long time.
He said it is time. He knows he can prove it this year, and as of in a smaller window here, it's time for Thomas Bullard to get to work in the third period.
Yeah, he's one of those guys you really wish you could have seen him at NCAAs last year. He drew the 10 seed. So that's position to really make some noise and threaten for the podium.
So the right time point has disappeared now. And all credit to Will Formato, and now he's having to face Bullard where he is best, on top, but with the 4-point advantage. And can he hold on for the last 90 seconds?
Yeah, Bullard did not have a whole lot of luck in neutral against Formato, so I think you're going to see him really sell out to get a turn here on top. You know, with the 4-point near fall, that's all it takes is one 4-point turn, and we got a tie match.
No fans allowed inside Reynolds Coliseum, but you can hear just a very limited number of friends and family allowed in the building. And both benches, you can hear cheering guys on. There's a look at this beautiful facility. Not the atmosphere that they are used to here in Raleigh. And having to generate your own energy. That's another aspect of this.
Yeah, no doubt. Although talking to guys and coaches, they say once it gets going, you don't even notice the difference. You're so zeroed in on a match. I don't think you really notice the crowd a whole lot.
There's the stall warning to Formato.
Bullard is running out of time here, though.
Just a peek at the clock. Formato knows he's got this one sealed up, and what a win it is for him.
John Mark Bentley told us he thought Formato could surprise some people. I think that's exactly what he's done with an upset of a top 10 wrestler on paper here. You see him get his 2 near fall points there, and he secures a
Will Formato of App State defeating 7th-ranked Thomas Bullard. And now Daniel Bullard comes out for NC State at 174 pounds. He's ranked 10th in the country. He will face 17th-ranked redshirt senior Thomas Flitz. Ryan, these are 2 fifth-year seniors. They are very familiar with one another. They met 3 times last year, with Bullard winning 2 of the 3.
Yeah, and all 3 matches were close.
Yeah.
If 149 pounds was our main event, to borrow a term from the UFC, this one's our co-main.
Okay, I like it. Yeah, very excited to see this one, and Daniel Bullard wastes no time.
And Flitz wastes no time escaping there.
Now Flitz in on a shot, but again, the scramble. Daniel Bullard, 3-time NCAA qualifier, all ACC last year. He earned the 15 seed at NCAAs last year, which was good enough for All-American honorable mention. He was all ACC after making the final at the ACC championship. Went 24-6, but again, one of those losses was to Thomas Flitz. Flitz, an NCAA qualifier last year, went 30-11 and was really on a tear at the end of the year. He won 17 of his last 19 matches. He was the SoCon Wrestler of the Month in the month of February, and lost in the SoCon final to Neil Richards of VMI. But it was going to be interesting to see how far he could go in the national tournament.
Yeah, I think both of these guys were certainly capable of making noise at NCAAs last year. As you see, Flitz gets a takedown of his own now.
Both wrestlers with a takedown in the first 2 minutes. Escape for Bullard. After Flitz tried the mat return, came up empty. Flitz last week won 3 matches. He's 3-0 on the year, won all by decision. He beat Robbie Patrick of Virginia. Daniel Bullard, major decision win over Samuel Mora of Gardner-Webb.
Yeah, I think the one area Daniel Bullard has really improved over the last year or so is his offensive game in neutral.
Okay.
He's really developed some shots. He likes to go with a low single. I mean, like I said, it's the same as Thomas Bullard. We know how good of scramblers they are. We know how good they are on top, but he's really advanced his game from neutral, in my opinion.
We expect it to be tight. Through one period, it is 3-3. This one would be surprised if it didn't come down to the third period. So we saw Formato avoid choosing bottom. Flitz will have to be on bottom here in the second against Bullard.
Yeah, and Flitz has felt Bullard on top before, so I had a lot of confidence in his bottom game there. There's not a lot of guys that are willing to go underneath of a Bullard, but he's one of them, and it showed right there.
Out in 15 seconds, not a whole lot of trouble there.
He's just very strong. I think you can see that with his bottom game. Very strong guy and pretty athletic, too, from what I've seen.
Flitz with that huge year last year, but he is not one of these guys that just stepped in as a freshman and took the world by storm. I think, when you talk to John Mark Bentley about the development, the kind of guys that he recruits and hard-nosed, hard-working guys that he then develops, I think Flitz might exemplify that just as well as anyone, because a couple years ago he was 13-19 on the season. To then turn that around, go 30-11, qualify for NCAAs, I mean, that is a huge leap.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to point to, was 2 years ago this guy had a losing record. And you see him out there right now, and he's hanging with a top 10 wrestler.
Oh, absolutely
leading.
belongs.
Yeah.
Coach Bentley said, he's changed so much. He said, about 2 years, said about 20 months. He has just improved so much, and the biggest area was his mental game.
Yeah.
And he said, you know what, he's gotten a lot better even since March when he qualified for NCAAs, and then obviously everything shut down and said he's capable of beating anyone at this level.
Well, you called it, partner. You said it was going to come down to the third period, and here we are.
Not exactly going out on a limb there, especially given the history between these two. So Daniel Bullard finds himself behind by a point as we go into the third. Bullard just moved into the top 10 of the rankings. Intermat has him at number 10 after his major decision last weekend on Sunday. So newly into the top 10, but facing a really tough challenge here from Flitz. The escape will tie it up. And the question probably will be who can get that one takedown, because as you see, ride time not a factor.
Yeah, each guy was able to secure a takedown in the first period. Let's see who can get one in the third.
This is everything you love about college wrestling here. Flitz doesn't love that. I think he got poked in the eye.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say looking for a contact maybe. Maybe not. I saw everyone looking down as if they were looking for a contact.
Bullard got off as quickly as you can right there, right at the start. And maybe not a bad strategy for a guy that is still, Flitz, rubbing that right eye. But he defended well, did Flitz.
Mm-hmm. Flitz gets in deep there, but Bullard scrambling and not giving up the two yet. Now if Bullard gets his legs free, good job by Flitz readjusting there.
This position could decide the bout. Who can come out of this scramble on top? 14 seconds left. Flitz holding on to that right ankle.
For dear life.
All right, so at 174 pounds, we thought it might be the closest one. It has been so far. Overtime. You'll hear no complaints from me. This one probably deserved an extra minute or so.
Yeah, sudden victory here. Either guy scores, that's going to be it in this minute.
A shot for Flitz.
Flitz doing a good job of trapping that ankle with his legs and finishes.
Sudden victory. Thomas Flitz beats Daniel Bullard. And App State goes back-to-back. Formato and Flitz defeat the Bullards. Dramatic fashion here from Thomas Flitz.
Yeah, he did a great job trapping Bullard's left ankle to prevent the scramble and was able to come out on top, gets revenge.
App State has won back-to-back bouts at 165. Will Formato at 174. Thomas Flitz defeating a couple of top 10 wrestlers in Thomas and Daniel Bullard. Now we go to 184 pounds. The junior, Jacob Ferreira, 1-0 on the year against the sophomore, Julian Goring of the Mountaineers. Ferreira filling in for Trent Heidel. He is the guy who is going to lock down this 184-pound weight class, but had an emergency appendectomy. He is going to be out. They hope to get him back for ACC competition, at the start of ACC competition, but obviously having a surgery like that, it's going to take some time to come back, so we'll see if he is available Friday at Virginia. But in the meantime, Ferreira getting his opportunity as a junior, and Coach Papalizio said, he's adding a ton of value to our program to give us some good depth at 184 pounds.
Yeah, across college wrestling, this might be the year of depth.
Got to have it.
Because of COVID and everything like that. And Ferreira gets his chance, and when a guy like this gets his chance, he wants to go out there and make the most of it.
And comes in the way that this whole match is gone, comes in now in a big spot because App State's got all the momentum, and Julian Goring trying to ride it. He's a true sophomore. As a freshman last year, went 20-16 and was named to the SoCon All-Freshman team. He had 5 pins last year in those 20 wins. This past weekend, he beat both wrestlers he saw from the Citadel, got a tech fall win over Cooper Youngblood. He lost to both Virginia wrestlers by decision. He saw Michael Batista and Hudson Stewart. Ferreira, a guy who began his career at Bucknell at 184 pounds. That's probably the most natural weight for him. He saw some action for NC State at 3 different weights last year, 174, 184, and 197.
Not something you see very often.
But again, 184 is probably the sweet spot for him. And with Heidley out, obviously, they need him there at 184.
Yeah, I mean, he did go out there and win the starting spot at 174 last year from Daniel Bullard, but I think that weight cut was just a little too much for him. He was having to focus too much on making weight rather than just wrestling. And, I mean, wrestling's tough enough as it is.
Sure.
So, more natural 184-pounder, and he went up to 97 last year to try helping the team and try breaking into the lineup with the injuries to Rena.
I think that just shows, a willingness. He's going to do whatever it takes to help the team and obviously to give himself a shot. Defeated Evan Schink of Gardner-Webb 12-6 on Sunday. First period in the books, no score. Ferreira and Goring. See Goring from Erie, Pennsylvania. Talking about Goring, Coach Bentley said that 184 is a tough weight to come in and wrestle as a true freshman, as Ferreira does earn the escape point. He said, Julian took his lumps last year, but he learned a lot from it, and that's going to make him a lot better. He's matured a lot, and we're expecting him to take it up a notch this season. Ferreira, single for a second.
Yeah, the scoreboard might say 1-0 in this one, but I think there's been a lot of action between these two guys so far. Just not a lot of finishes on these takedown attempts.
Shot from Goring. Ferreira just fends it off.
Great re-attack there from Goring.
And he gets the trip and he gets the finish. There's the first takedown. And it goes to Julian Goring. What was once a 14-3 NC State team lead, now just 14-9, and Goring looks like he's going to take the lead, and he will take that lead into the third period.
There's great defense there from Goring, and then tries for a spin around, gets his shot, trips him, gets the takedown. Great job from the sophomore. It looks like he learned those lessons last year as a true freshman at 184, getting thrown to the Wolves.
Handling the Wolf a little better this year.
There's a shot from Ferreira.
Goring just shrugged that off.
Yeah, he did.
The top team in the ACC versus the top team in the SoCon. And App State right now giving NC State all they want. Goring almost had that same re-attack.
Yeah, he's been very effective with that sprawl and down block, and gets on his offense very quickly after that. Ferreira's running out of time here, so he's going to have to really set up his shot and try to create an angle in order to get this takedown. He can't just be diving in. He needs to be aware of the clock here and also his position on the mat. And Goring does a great job circling back in, kind of knowing that from his perspective.
Yeah, he wants this clock to keep rolling. He didn't want to restart. And Ferreira from so far away there. He's turning this, trying to turn this into something more, but that was just too out of reach. Julian Goring, and now App State. How about him, Ryan? They've won 3 in a row.
They've got all the momentum on their side. Julian Goring was very impressive in that one. And you see right here, here was the takedown of the match. Great reshot.
We welcome you back for the 197-pound bout. Redshirt sophomore Mason Fazella of App State against redshirt senior Nick Reynolds of NC State. Reynolds 1-0 on this year. Got a major decision over Jack Troutman of Gardner-Webb. And he is trying to fend off App State and do it for the team here. And there is the 2-point takedown. He gets off to a nice start against Fazella, because App State, if you're just tuning in, was trailing 14-3 in the team score. 3 straight wins. Will Formato over Thomas Bullard by decision. An OT win of Thomas Flitz over Daniel Bullard in sudden victory. And then Julian Goring, a 3-1 decision over Jacob Ferreira. So App State has won 3 straight bouts, and now it is Fazella trying to keep that going and winning this bout. If App State can do it, if Fazella can pull it off, they will take a lead into the final one of the night, heavyweight.
Yeah, no doubt about it. But Nick Reynolds.
Wow. Fazella was in some serious trouble there. It's going to go down as 2 points. He was able to get that shoulder blade off the mat there.
But I was just going to say, Nick Reynolds looking great early on. He's a guy who's battled a couple of knee injuries here and hasn't been quite as active in neutral as he used to be, but he looks great so far.
Got him cradled up. Four points awarded. And he hasn't broken that hold yet.
Yeah, Reynolds here looking for the fall for his team to put things out of reach.
Now the hold breaks, so the 4 points are awarded. A near fall, 8-1 now for Reynolds. I'm excited to see what he can do this year. He is giving Fazella all kinds of trouble right now. Should be 4 more. Yes, it is. And there's the pin. Nick Reynolds in the first period. 2 minutes and 16 seconds. Wins by fall over Fazella. Wow.
That is vintage Nick Reynolds out there. Waste no time getting 2 takedowns early. Cradles up on one side, flips to the other side, and secures the pin. Impressive first period fall for Nick Reynolds there. Does a great job with his cradle and puts this one out of reach, clinches the match for NC State.
Andrew Sanders back here with Ryan Tice. So glad you could join us tonight. NC State with that pin. Nick Reynolds getting the win at 197, winning by fall over Mason Fazella. As you said, Ryan, that locks up. This is going to be a win for NC State and will be the Pac's 19th straight win, extending the nation's longest dual win streak. But we are not done. Heavyweight still to be decided, although the team score has been locked up. 18th ranked junior Deontay Wilson, 1-0 on the year, going up against 0-2 Tim Warren. He's a junior and filling in for redshirt sophomore Michael Burchell, who is the starter at this position and who had some good history with Deontay Wilson. He actually pinned Wilson last year, so we were looking forward to that one, but it is not Burchell, not available. He did not weigh in today, so it is Warren who gets the start. Deontay Wilson is a guy that quickly, I think, if Wolfpack fans weren't already huge fans of Deontay Wilson already, what he was able to do last year against North Carolina and against Virginia Tech, back-to-back weeks. I mean, he became a hero for Wolfpack Wrestling, scoring that takedown to decide the duel against North Carolina in the last 10-15 seconds.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, on paper he was the underdog in both of those matches. Goes out there and shows why they wrestle the matches and don't listen to what's on paper. Did a great job in both those bouts, and he's a guy that's improved so much from the beginning of last year and obviously the beginning of his career to the end of last season. I mean, I thought by the end of the year he looked like a guy who could go out there and contend for All-America honors at NCAAs.
Well, Coach Popolizio said, he's got a chip on his shoulder, and he thinks that you talk about how much better he's gotten, that he's gotten really his most improvement has come defensively.
Yeah, no doubt about it. He is very, very strong defensively now. And the other thing, given his size, he is a bigger heavyweight, but he has got a phenomenal gas tank. I think that's one of the more impressive things about Deontay Wilson.
Yeah. Coach said when you got a guy his size that moves the way he moves and he doesn't get tired, I mean, he is dangerous. And then I thought gave us just a tremendous anecdote where he said they go on team runs for conditioning, and that Deontay Wilson is out there. He said he's in the top half of the runs. So you would obviously expect, the 125 guys probably to be around out in front, and the heavyweights would bring up the rear. And he says, he's out there running sometimes with guys who are, 133, 141. He's ahead of the middle of the pack, and he uses that as motivation to say, hey, guys, the heavyweight's outrunning you.
Not too bad for a guy who weighs 260 plus.
I mean, that's unbelievable. But he's got tremendous conditioning, and like Coach said, he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's got something to prove, and he just continues to work really hard and has gotten better and better. 2-0 through the first period here. Finds himself ranked 18th in the country. And who knows, if he takes another step forward like he did from the start of last year to the end of last year, who knows where he could finish up.
Yeah, he's just an excellent athlete for his size. Great motor, great defense, and really, in my opinion, the last piece of the puzzle for Deontay Wilson is just being a little more, hunting his offense a little more, being more aggressive in neutral, and not settling for a 0-0 first period sometimes.
That's really got to be the last box to check, right? I mean, you talk about the defense, right? And as a heavyweight, he's got plenty in the gas tank.
Yep. It's a great combination for a big man.
So just improving just a little bit there in neutral offensively, and check all the boxes. Again, Tim Warren filling in for Michael Burchell. And Burchell was taking a step up this year because last year, Coach Bentley had Kerry Miller, who was the Southern Conference champion twice qualifying for the NCAAs, had a 95 career wins. And so it was thought that the redshirt sophomore Burchell, this was his time. Unfortunately, unavailable today. And so next man up mentality. Here is Tim Warren. Hadn't wrestled a lot for the Mountaineers. On Saturday, he lost to Jesse Knight of Virginia. He also fell to Michael McAlevey of the Citadel, both by decision. As a whole last year, Warren went 6-10 overall. But he did earn a couple of pins and got a couple of wins at 2 separate opens. Well, Ryan, based on what we've seen tonight, what do you think about App State and where they stand in the SoCon? Came in as the favorites.
Oh, I think
that's probably been solidified tonight in your mind.
Yeah, I think they've backed that up 100%, and they've, a couple of great individual efforts, and I think this is an App State team that I would not be shocked to see them break into the top 25 as a team eventually this year. I've been very impressed with what they've gone out here and done against, rankings are on paper and all that, but this is the number 4 team in the country, a team that's coming off an undefeated season, has not lost yet this year, and for App State to just come into their house and put up such a good effort, I'm impressed.
You got to look at the middle of that lineup, and Formato following up, beating Casto of the Citadel, an NCAA qualifier, and then comes out and beats 3-time NCAA qualifier Thomas Bullard as Wilson earns the takedown, make it 6-0. And then Thomas Flitz, again, a guy who made a huge turnaround, losing record to winning 30 last year, and he comes out and beats Daniel Bullard. And when you have that kind of strength in the middle of your lineup, of course, 149, Jonathan Milner, can't forget about him. That win at 149, that's going to give them some serious just strength in the middle of the lineup, that when they go into these SoCon duels, I mean, they're going to know that they can rely on those guys to really in the middle of the duel. If you start at 125, they're going to rack up some points there in the middle.
I mean, look at that shot there from Deontay Wilson. That's not something that many 260-plus pounders are capable of doing. And if you're NC State, that's exactly what I'm talking about. You want to see him going for those type of moves, being aggressive on offense from the beginning, not just in the third period. He needs to be doing that in the first.
Wilson choosing to cut and go for some more.
Looks like we had another stall call there against Warren. Point for Wilson.
Again, right time, not a factor as Wilson is going to score. I was just going to say, so he's going to need a takedown in order to get into major decision territory. Well, he's there. And the clock will hit zeros. Deontay Wilson, a major decision over Warren of App State. And that will conclude our Friday night duel. Ryan, congratulations to Pat Popolizio. This is career win number 200 for him. Number 119 here at NC State in his 9th season. And the Wolfpack extend the nation's longest dual winning streak now, 19 in a row. What are your thoughts on this performance from the Pack?
Well, got a little hairy there for a little while, but NC State showing their strength, coming back, finishing strong. Nick Reenan, I mean, let's give credit to him, coming out there, first period pin after App State had closed the gap to just 2 team points. He clinches the duel with a pin.
Great matchup between the ACC's top program and the SoCon favorites. An in-state matchup. NC State and App State, always fun. This one did not disappoint. It's the 4th-ranked Wolfpack who pull out the victory tonight in Raleigh. 24-12, the final for my partner Ryan Tice and our entire crew here in Raleigh. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Andrew Sanders saying good night